Sporting Dog Adventures, run, boy,
That
run.
was awesome.
Everything you
Good
need
boy.
is here under the sun. Everything you need is here under the sun.
Welcome to Sporting Dog Adventures. You are watching What's Cooking with Kate. I'm Kate Fuller, and today we are going to be making biscuits and gravy with venison meat. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our biscuits going. You can use whatever kind of canned biscuits you like from the store. These are Pillsbury Grands, the Southern style. If you're feeling very ambitious, you could make your own. I'm not that ambitious. We're going to use the kind from the can. Any brand will do. Any flavoring you like will work just fine. We're going to do these first because these take the longest. So I've already put some cooking spray onto the sheet so that they don't stick. I think a lot of them say that you don't have to do that anymore, but I have better luck when I actually do apply the oil. So we're just going to put our biscuits onto the pan. I've already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. And so we'll get these baking so they're about done in time for when our gravy is done. They take about 13 to 17 minutes depending. So we'll set a timer and let those work. The next thing we're going to start working on is the venison meat. So we have 1 pound of venison meat ground here. And the way Jeff actually has the butcher prepare it, he actually has him put a little bit of pork into this. It adds a little bit more oil, a little bit more flavor. So make sure there's no frozen left in it because this was in the freezer. Nope, perfect. Turn on our pan and throw a little oil in there just so it doesn't stick. This is olive oil. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever you like. We're just gonna cook the ground venison. Use a fork to break it up so it gets into nice little pieces. And about the only thing I add to the mix at this point is black pepper. I really like my biscuits and gravy to have a nice black pepper flavor component to them. So I add quite a lot of black pepper, but that's about it. Moving it around so it doesn't stick on the bottom. Grab our black pepper. This is ground. If you prefer coarse, coarse is fine too. If you don't even really like black pepper that much, you can skip this part. So you can see I'm adding quite a bit. We really like it that way. I think when we have biscuits and gravy, a lot of times they're okay, but they kind of lack flavor. They don't really have any punch to them, or they're very flat, they're very pasty. And I think this is just one of the small things that you can do to make sure yours don't taste like that. So this venison is about done. You know it's done when the pink is gone. Something to keep in mind with this particular recipe is you're not pre-cooking, you're actually cooking, so you do want all the pink gone. There should be no pink left in the meat. So all the pink is out of the meat. This is pretty much done, at least this step. So we're just gonna set this aside, and we're gonna actually work on the gravy portion of our dish. So you just need a saucepan, a small to medium saucepan will work just fine. And I've already measured out 2 cups of cold water. We're just gonna put that in. Again, if you want to make your gravy by hand from scratch, you can do that. I use a starter packet and then I add things to it. So we're gonna put this packet in. and incorporate it with the water. And our goal here will be to bring this to a boil, which will take a couple minutes. In the meanwhile, while you're waiting for your gravy mix to come to a boil, if you take a look at your meat and you find that it's a little too greasy or oily for your liking, you can strain it. The boys in this house like it exactly like that, so we're not going to strain it. We're going to leave it as it is. Turn the heat up on this. You can add more black pepper to this at this point if you like that. If you want to make the recipe less savory, less home style, and kick it up a notch, you could actually throw some red pepper in here if you want. We've mentioned it before on the show, our kids don't really like things that are that spicy, so we won't be adding any red pepper or anything like that at this point, but you could. You could also have your butcher, when they prepare the venison, add some spice or seasoning to give it more of that hot flavor. Like the Jimmy Dean's hot sausage that you can buy in the store. So this is just the plain regular kind. Like I said, the children here don't really like the spicy stuff. This is just going to come to a boil. Something that I sometimes do add to sort of customize the recipe a little bit. If I think this is a little too runny, you can throw in, say, a tablespoon or so of cornstarch or even just plain old flour to thicken it up a bit. I have this on hand. I have it out just in case I find that that's the outcome as we're working here. If you want yours a little thicker, just throw a little bit of that in, and that's a thickening agent that works wonders.
Sporting Dog Adventures is presented by the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism, Boucher Automotive, Fleet Farm, Heavy Shot, Mac Outdoors, Brite, inertia-driven shotguns, and Soggy Acres Retrievers. Hey, welcome to Season 9 of Sporting Dog Adventures. Please like our videos, share them, and spread the word to all your friends.
So we are about at a boil here. We have a nice rolling boil going. So we're going to turn it down and let it simmer for just a little bit. I think it's thick enough, so I don't think I'm going to add any cornstarch. It looks just fine in my opinion. But again, if it's too thin, just 1 tablespoon, and then be ready to act quickly with your whisk because it's going to thicken really quickly if you add any kind of thickening agent. At this point, or even when it starts to simmer, you can start to incorporate the venison meat into the gravy. So, just gonna grab a spoon. We won't need all of this. We can save some of this for something else. And we're just gonna incorporate it. All right, that's it for the gravy component. So we can set that aside. I'll probably just leave it on a really low simmer just to keep it warm. I'll whisk it occasionally while we're waiting for our biscuits to come out of the oven. All right, the biscuits, the timer's gone off, so we are going to take them out of the oven. And they are beautiful. It's really warm. So all we have left to do is grab a bowl, grab a biscuit, and ladle on some of this gravy goodness. I can actually see my husband off camera there drooling away outside the window.
Did I miss something?
I was just saying I could see you drooling out there.
You always gotta love when you come back
It's super hot.
and you have a television show and you're doing a cooking segment and you're hungry.
And it's biscuits and gravy.
Cal's at work. I took him in.
He gets none.
No.
It's super hot.
Yeah, it looks like. So what am I eating anyway?
You are eating biscuits and gravy made with venison.
Really?
From a deer you took.
Awesome.
It's gonna be really hot.
That is really good.
Isn't it amazing?
You guys got to try this recipe. I didn't get to make it, but I get to eat it. That's it for this week's What's Cooking with Kate.
Catch us next week in next week's video.
Nothing beats a good pheasant hunt with my sons. We're headed to Kansas this winter. The state has some of the world's best populations of upland game, making it one of America's top bird hunting destinations. Kansas provides mixed bag opportunities and 1.5 million acres of public hunting lands. All that makes Kansas an ideal destination. The season runs from the second weekend in November to the end of January. Go to ksoutdoors.com and plan your trip today.